What's going on, 3rd and 13 listeners? Welcome back to the podcast. Man, we are excited to be back. I know we had a few things happen again throughout this time that in between episodes, so we got some things to talk about. We obviously had the championship games that happened. The NFC and the AFC game happened this past weekend. And we definitely want to get into talking about that. A couple of other things, some details, some news popped up. Surprise, surprise, the Pistons won a couple of games since we've talked. Now we rushing. Yeah.
The boys up to 6 wins. Let's go.
Yeah. Remember I said they go back, once they got through that streak, they get back to being just a regular bad team. They're solid.
I don't even think. Never mind. I don't think they're regularly bad. I mean, it's still really, really bad. It's still
they got more wins in the last 2 weeks than they got.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, in 3 months. So I mean,
that's true. They got like what about 2 or 3 of them. So in 2 weeks, that's crazy.
Maybe 3 in 3 weeks. I think. I don't know if it was in 2 weeks, but
I don't know. It was quite 3.
3 in 3 weeks though, for sure, sounds about right.
That's true, because they've only won 4 games since the last time we done talked about them. So
yeah, and they only had 3 wins in the first 3 months. So I mean, it's exciting. But let's get into this football, man. Gee, we all right. Before we get into obviously one that we are very focused on and hurt by, but let's talk about the first game, right? Let's go right in order.
Fair.
The Ravens and the Chiefs. Hey, man, you got it right. Hey, which is funny because I've been wrong about the Chiefs the whole time, and I've been right about them, and we flip-flopped on this one. And
because somebody learns from their mistakes. Somebody learns from their mistakes.
I didn't have any yet, so I didn't.
Yeah. You just wanted to be wrong about this one. You should have just stuck with your guns. I
should have, because I have been talking about the Chiefs for weeks. I was pumping them up about the defense. And look, man, their defense stepped up once again.
Understatement.
I mean, they had them, and it was. I don't even. So, all right, let's get into it. So the game ended up being. Did it finish 17-10? I can't remember now. We've been to. I know it was 17-10 for me. Yep. Finished 17-10, which is crazy. So, I did call it. I did think it was going to be a lower score.
You did.
I thought it was going to be like 2017 though, so I wasn't too far off. But 17-10 is crazy because we know he's going to win the MVP, right? But Lamar Jackson didn't play well. Like he didn't play well, and that's just the truth. I thought he was going to play much better. He missed a lot of guys. He missed guys open. He didn't run the ball. Like, Lamar, you run the ball. It's okay to still run the ball. I think he got so caught up in, yes, he passed well and played well in the pocket throughout the season, much better. The previous game and the first playoff game or whatever. But it's still okay to run the ball. Like, you can run. If it's there, run it. Your team needs you to run the ball. Like,
Absolutely.
It's one game. Yeah, you're trying to preserve yourself, longevity of your career, so you don't want to do it as much as you did in previous years, and that's understood throughout the whole season. But in this game, to get to the Super Bowl, you just got to go, dog.
You got to put it all out there.
I don't think he did that. I don't think he. He missed some throws too. He held the ball. He held the ball too long. The third quarter. Now it wasn't just on him in the third quarter. The play calling was awful in the third quarter for the Ravens. I did not care for the play calling. I thought it was very. They were calling plays as if they were down 21 points in the third quarter, as if they had to throw it all over the place, and they were down 7. It didn't make any sense. What did you think of that game, G?
I wasn't. I was not surprised. I'll say this. Yes, I definitely picked the Chiefs to win that game, but I think it's because of this reason here. I think I'm at the point with Lamar is that Lamar has to do it first at this point. Like this is where he struggled. I mean, he has struggled at this stage. Like the playoffs has always been a struggle for him. And as you said, I know he had that, he had a decent game against Houston. Um, However, this wasn't Houston.
No, I
This
wasn't.
this was the game with the expectations. This is the one where you have to win, and
And it changed.
same
It
thing.
would have changed the perspective of the career. Like, right, you beat
Absolutely,
Mahomes, though they're not necessarily on
absolutely.
the field at the same time. It meant a lot, right?
But the pressure in this game was high, man.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's it's what I said. Like you facing a team, the Chiefs, who are here every year,
Every
and
year.
now they're the underdog. You are
Yeah,
expected to beat them,
yeah, yeah,
even
yeah,
knowing their history, what they've been, that they've been here for. You've never been here. You,
yeah.
Lamar Jackson, ain't never been in this. You have to beat them, and
And
that's
even
tough.
Baltimore's never. That was the first time they've hosted the AFC Championship game.
Yeah,
They've
that's
been before. That was the
tough.
first time they hosted it.
That's tough sledding. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna take the more experienced team in that in
yeah,
that in that
yeah,
in that aspect. I think KC kind of proved that it doesn't matter where they at home or on the road. They got something special in the playoffs. You got to beat them. They're not gonna beat themselves.
yeah,
That was a downfall with Buffalo.
yeah.
Buffalo should have won that game, but Buffalo beat
Mm-hmm,
themselves.
mm-hmm,
KC not gonna beat them. Like I
mm-hmm.
believe Buffalo was the better team. However, they weren't the ones out there. KC wasn't the ones out there making all the mistakes. Buffalo was. So in this game, the only thing you could say is that they choked. They went away from what worked for them all season. They changed their
Mm-hmm.
whole game plan. You said the play call was bad in the third quarter. Man, that play call was bad the whole game.
True,
It was
true,
bad.
true,
It
true,
was bad. These
true.
these these boys they were one of the top rushing offenses in the league, and
Yeah,
they did
and
not run the ball.
they just said,
They
let's not
didn't
do that.
run.
We don't
We're
run the
just
ball
not
a
gonna
lot.
do it.
Yeah, we're good.
Like they got and then they got tight, and
Mm-hmm,
it was over from there, and they never
mm-hmm,
got back to what
mm-hmm.
got them there. So
Yeah,
it was ultimately they just choked from the coaching staff to Lamar. Now I will tell you this: that Ravens defense, man, I would be mad at everybody, bro. Like I would
yeah.
be them boys put on a performance for you. Like they
The
kept
second
them in
half,
that game.
they really stepped up in the second half. Now,
Yeah, man.
part of it was the Chiefs were playing like in the second half. They were like, here, beat us. Like they felt
Because
like
they're beatable.
they were like they weren't even trying. They weren't aggressive. I'll just say that they were obviously trying to score, but they weren't aggressive. But it still was the Baltimore defense, like you said, was they stepped up in the second half and they didn't allow any more points.
Because they're beatable,
17 in the
man.
first half, and they
They're
didn't allow any
beatable.
more. And the offense wet the bed, like
I
just
don't even
absolutely wet the bed.
and I'm getting more angry thinking about our next topic just because the Chiefs are beatable. You
Mm,
just can't make the mistakes.
mm-hmm,
They're really not great. This is okay, let's call it spade a spade. Like I didn't pick them because they were not the better team in none of these games.
mm,
Like they should have lost. Like
mm.
they should not have beat Buffalo. I don't think they beat Miami on a neutral field, and I don't think they should have beat Baltimore. I understand how you feel
I'm
about the
still not a
Miami game.
believer by yeah.
I get you. Me
I'm
either. Me either. I think
yeah.
Miami's frauds too. But that's another reason as to why I feel like the Chiefs. They just these are the teams that they got to face. Okay, they got to face a Miami team in
Mm-hmm,
-30 degree temperatures
mm-hmm,
who we already thought was
mm-hmm.
frauds in the first place. But they
Hey,
also have better talent
hey,
than the
win
Chiefs
your division.
for sure. Then you play Buffalo, who should
Mm-hmm,
have beat you, but
mm-hmm.
mistake
They had
ridden the entire
opportunities.
game.
Yep.
Mistake ridden the entire game. And then you
Mm-hmm,
play the Baltimore Ravens, and the issue with them is so much pressure, man. The pressure they
mm-hmm.
folded under the pressure. They were the better
Mm-hmm.
team. All they had to do was go out there and play their game.
They would
That's
have
it.
been better off if the roles were reversed and Chiefs were number one and
Absolutely.
they were
Absolutely.
in the 3 seed and
Absolutely.
they would come in the
Absolutely.
Arrowhead. They
Absolutely. Like
it
that's
would
what
have
I'm
been a
saying. It worked
better
out for the
job, a better
Chiefs.
thing for them. Yeah,
It
yeah.
worked out for the Chiefs. Like
Because if any
and
year this was the year to beat the Chiefs, like
absolutely.
if any year this was the
Absolutely.
year.
They've been beatable all year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that they're not the better team. I mean that they're not a great team. They are a great team.
Yeah,
But
clearly.
to act as if this wasn't some. I mean, you play a negative 40-degree temperature week one of the playoffs. Then you get Buffalo who folds under the pressure, and then you get Baltimore folds under the pressure. Like these, like
Mm-hmm.
they should have lost both of them games, but they're here. Can't take nothing away from them. They here and they get to place the Niners in the Super Bowl. I mean, that is what that is. But I'm gonna say this, man. The pressure, the talking for Lamar gonna be loud this summer, man.
It's gonna be
That's
very loud.
It's gonna be loud, man.
Very
It
loud.
is, and he deserved it. I can't sit here and defend him. I mean, this was what happens when, and we're gonna talk about this later too. When you get to the mountaintop, we
Mm-hmm.
don't care about nothing else. I don't care
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna win the MVP. I don't care
Mm-hmm.
how great the regular season was. None of that
Mm-hmm.
matters. That's expected. What
Mm-hmm.
do you do here? What do you
Mm-hmm.
do in this moment? That's been the biggest criticism on his career is what he does in this
Mm-hmm.
moment, and he choked again. So, you know, he got to wait. We got to go through the whole regular season. Forget that. I don't care what he does in regular season next year. He ain't fooling nobody until we get to this
Mm-hmm.
point again, and he has to get a job
Because
done.
it's different as opposed to say the week before with Buffalo, right? Buffalo can't,
Right?
for whatever reason, get over the hump of Kansas City, but it's not because Josh Allen didn't step up, right? Josh Allen made mistakes, and we talked about that. He
He did.
made some mistakes, which all quarterbacks are going to make some mistakes. That's just going to happen. But he made a lot of great plays. He made a lot.
Yeah,
He had them in that game, and he stepped up and gave them an opportunity to win that game. Lamar
absolutely.
Jackson didn't give them a chance to win that game.
No,
He just didn't. He just
no.
didn't. And I'm a big. I've said I'm a big Lamar supporter. Like I'm a fan of his. But when you do stuff like this and you can't, when you don't step up, this was the game where you were supposed to put your stamp on.
Cement on
Hey,
it.
I am. I'm in this conversation with
Got to.
Mahomes. I'm in this conversation with Josh Allen. That's what he was supposed to be doing. I'm in this
Like
conversation with Burrow. I'm supposed to be, you know.
they
But
teed up for you.
yeah,
You got the Chiefs teed up right here. Like
yeah, yeah,
this is the moment. Like
yeah.
you're not going up against some up and coming. Like you got Mahomes right here
Yeah,
with the better team.
yeah,
Go beat them.
yeah,
Like that. That's what this was. Like
yeah,
you had to go win that game. That would have been the crowning moment of your career. Like you missed
yeah.
the opportunity. You missed that
Or
window, and that's tough.
even if you lose, it can't be because you played poorly, right? Like you can't.
And
It
I
can't
told you
be
that.
because you
That's the
played
thing.
poorly.
And I told you that when during the game, I said they can't go out this way. They
Yeah,
cannot go out
yeah,
because of the offense was bad. Like that can't
yeah.
be the reason. And the simple
You
fact
were
that that
right.
was the reason is going to be,
All off
it's
season,
almost
we
gonna be
go
like he gonna be the Carmelo
forget
of the NFL.
forget the off season. We gonna hear it all the way until we get back to the playoffs again next year
That's
if
what I
they make it
said.
to the
That's
playoffs.
what I said.
Like
We can skip all
it's
through all that because it don't matter.
they
It's it's
they gonna be
that
talking.
LeBron effect. Like
Yeah,
it doesn't matter no more. Like what you do in the playoffs is what matters. We don't care
yep,
what happens in the regular season,
yep,
and don't mess around and be bad in the regular season. Like just know nothing. There's nothing great you're gonna do in the regular season that we're gonna care about.
yeah.
We gonna care. We gonna care if you're bad, and we're gonna care if you do great in the postseason.
And
That's it, and that's tough.
that's actually a good, almost a double. You almost had a really good double comparison, right? At first, you said like it's like he at the moment it's like a Carmelo, like you can't really get over the
Right.
hump, can't get to that top the top of the mountain, and things like that. But then also you said the kind of LeBron effect, and what I got from that was it is more so of right where LeBron was before he finally won that championship, right? When that
Absolutely.
up into that Dallas series, or even right before that, where everybody was like, you just it's just noise. You're going to hear
Yeah.
all the noise. You're going to hear all this, and rightfully so if you don't get to that point where people are expecting you to be at, I guess, expecting your talent
Yeah.
to take you to. And obviously with football it's a little different, but just I did like that little bit of a comparison, and so I'm curious to know what they're going to do going forward because I don't know. Like I guess you just try to run it back, right? Because
I mean, that's it.
like
That's it. I
that's
mean, you were the better
like
team. You just lost. You choked. I mean, I the team you had should have won the Super Bowl. I don't. From what I saw in both NFC Championship games, Here's the wildest part about this. Like, and again, we gonna get into this. The two best teams are the teams sitting at home. I'm just gonna
Mm,
tell you that right now. The
mm,
two better teams who played in them games are the teams sitting at home for very different reasons.
mm.
In those respective games, the two best teams are sitting at home, and we'll get into all that in the Super Bowl and these teams who are playing. But that's the wildest part, and that's something that they have to sit the whole offseason to think about. The same way with Detroit, like these are things that they have to go home and sit and think about. Is that they should be here, and if
So
Baltimore wins that game, more than likely Baltimore probably wins the Super Bowl, and
yeah,
vice
I mean
versa
because that
for
was that
Detroit.
because that was the game that was the game over the hump. Like that was
Absolutely,
the get past the Chiefs, like,
absolutely,
and you have the talent to win, right? So you just
absolutely.
brought them up. You just brought them up. So the other game, the NFC Championship game, the the Lions and the 49ers, right?
Right.
For all remembrance sake, um, I was right about the result. I'm not happy about the being right about the result though. Been going through it all week, right?
You're sort of right
um,
about the result, but okay.
I was right about the result. I said they would. I said they would.
Yes,
They
you
would
said they
lose.
will win, but
Hmm.
we all
Hmm.
know how that game went. You didn't think that. The
No,
way
no,
that game
I
went, you didn't
definitely
think
didn't think
that
the
was
way.
what's going to happen.
Absolutely not. No, that's why I just said the result, not necessarily the whole game.
For
Um,
sure.
the Lions came out on fire, right? They came out with all the momentum. They came out. They weren't scared. They punched them right in the mouth from the jump, and that whole first half, all the way until the last drive. There was a point in the last drive where I think a point in the last drive that really hurt them, and I'll bring that up in a second. And we've talked about it already, but um, they really came out, and credit to them. This is a team that never been there before. This is a team that none of the coaches ain't been there, the players ain't been there outside of Jared Goff. Um, they had never been there before. This was a new space, a new, just new, right? And so they really came out. They weren't afraid, and that was great, right? There's a point where I'm talking about specifically that obviously this is just a layer. It's not just one thing. Now, you and I have talked about this already. There's not just one thing that lost them this game, but the problem is if two of the things that we probably bring up differently, they win the game. That's the weird thing
Absolutely.
about this whole thing.
Yeah.
So the thing that I'm talking about specifically in the first half, and I'm just kind of just going in order of like the halves or whatever. Um, the miss Jared Goff missed Gibbs on that last drive. That was really the only like really big. Wait, did that was the first fourth down go? Was that in the first half?
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So there's that. Yes, it was. There's that. That was right before that drive. Actually, yep. It was the drive
Yep.
before. They had went for it on fourth down, and in typical fashion, they've been doing all season. Went for it. This one was contested, but definitely catchable in his hands. Um, Josh Reynolds dropped the ball. Okay, dropped it. All right, whatever. We've wasn't a big deal at the moment, right? Then this was the issue. The next drive, where the ending drive, the Lions are up 21-7, and they had a chance to go up 28-7, right? Jared Goff missed. Gibbs was wide open, man, and Goff missed him, and it ended up them where they had another fourth down. They were but they were closer. They were at the goal line, and they had a chance to either go for it, go for 7, or take the field goal. And uncharacteristically, they go for the field goal. All right, so they're up 24-7. Um, they go into the half. Everybody's feeling good. We're feeling good as fans. We're like, yay, yay. Um, and then they came out in the second half, and um, it didn't go well. It
Mm.
didn't go well. It didn't go
That's
well.
the way of putting it.
we had a fumble by Gibbs, and that's not the first thing, but this is in whatever order. They had a fumble by Gibbs. They went for it again on another 4th and 3, big controversy. You with a lot of other people think that should have took the field goal to take the points. But then there's also the other side where Josh Reynolds again had this one was more wide open. It was just it just went through. He just dropped it. He just dropped it. 4th and 3, just dropped it. The analytics said to go for it, but then there's also that point where it made sense to also take the points if people, and there's a good point about taking those points as well. And everything just kept cascading down, and everything just kept just falling apart. And the Lions lost this game, and it the thing is, it looked like, and I'll let you say your piece about it before I even go more into kind of a point that I have. But go ahead and share your thoughts, because I know we've talked about it a few times now already, and I know you got some things to jump on.
All right. We've put off this pod for a few days now, just because we had to kind of collect our thoughts coming back into the after the wild day that it was.
It was emotional.
Wild night that was Sunday night. I'll say this before I get into my diatribe. Being a Lions fan, you would think you would get numb to this kind of stuff. I mean, you would think that this kind of way of life you get numb to. But you just don't. It's like they find a new way to do it. It's a new dig, to make you forget about all the old ones. It's like just can't make it through one season where it's just like not something. We had a couple this year. So as far as the game is concerned, the Lions were the better team. Let me start off with the good. We're going to start with the good aspect of this. The Lions were the better team. What the Lions did to the 49ers in the first half, and what the 49ers are still talking about trying to get corrected, their embarrassing defensive performance in the first half, as they're calling it. If the Lions go back out there and play this game again, they would do the exact same thing to them. Here's because the players that they have on the O-line are better than the players that they have on the defensive line. Those guys do not respond well to the physicality. They do not respond well, and they, for whatever reason, cannot cover that toss crack. They cannot, for whatever reason, the ends don't know what to do when receivers block down on them. They just don't know. I mean, it's
yeah.
And the reason I say this is because the week before, Green Bay killed them with this. The Lions are known for running that same play, so you knew for a fact that the Lions were going to come in and do that exact same thing, and you still couldn't stop it. And they did it the entire first half of that game, and you could not do anything about it. Couldn't do nothing about it.
Yeah.
What happened in that game is just the same old tale of immaturity.
Absolutely.
That's all
exactly
it was.
That's exactly what I was going to get into.
This is not a conversation, and I get it. The guys out there in San Francisco, y'all happy, y'all great. Congratulations, you're in the Super Bowl. But I said what I said. The two best teams are sitting at home. This is why no one cares about the Super Bowl, because they know the Super Bowl that everyone wanted to see. Everyone wanted to see the Ravens and the Lions. Why? Because those were the better teams here. People thought the Niners were the better team until they were down 24-7.
And just better stories too. And
it wasn't like these were lucky plays. These weren't lucky plays. They were just beating them. I mean, and nothing they could do could stop them. But immaturity killed the Lions at the end of the day, because they went away from what was working for whatever reason. Not sure what Ben Johnson was thinking, but they went away, and then they started doing uncharacteristic things, and that's just the sign of a team who the moment got too big. Reynolds does not drop footballs. Gibbs does not fumble footballs. These things does not happen. These are not characteristic things. We run the ball. Why aren't we running the football? We
Mm-hmm.
pass the ball to St. Brown all the time. Why didn't he get like one target in the whole second half? Like these
Yeah,
things
but we
are
wanted to put
very
him
uncharacteristic.
in the backfield to
Yeah,
run the ball
yeah,
one
we're
time.
running St. Brown. We're doing flea flickers. And I said something to you before, and I'll say it for everyone else. We played the game as if we were the underdog. And my thing is, everyone saw that we were not the underdog at about 5 minutes into that first quarter. But we continued to play the game as if it was 2 years ago and we were facing the Rams and we was kicking onside kicks and going for every punt. Like we didn't need to
Mm,
do none of that. All we
mm,
had to do was play the game and
mm,
we would have won the game. But we got too cute. We tried to think we needed extra. We didn't need to. And the reason, going back to the going forward on fourth down, again, I get it. That is what the Lions been doing. I get it.
mm,
But going into this new era that they're in, yes, by all means, be aggressive, yada yada yada.
mm-hmm.
I got that. Don't lose that edge. But we have to be a little more smarter as to how we do it because it matters if we lose. Like they almost play like it don't matter if it don't work out. Like it matters if it don't work out. Like you have to weigh that. Like you have to weigh that against doing it. Like they should be doing that against us. Like we shouldn't just be going for it from our 20-yard line. Certain things just we got to kind of tamper back a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like the aggressiveness. Yes, would I preferred him kick the field goal? I said it in the moment before it happened when they lined up to do it. I didn't
We
want it.
did.
Wasn't a this wasn't a oh he didn't get it so now I'm mad at him. No. I at the moment I said it. You have to kick the field goal here. You have to it's required. Tie the game, and the only reason I say that is because we talked about momentum. Momentum is real. Analytics does not take momentum into consideration. Like
It
it
doesn't.
doesn't.
It doesn't.
It's
That's a
just
fair
strictly
point.
numbers.
That's a fair
They
point.
had all the momentum at that point in the game.
That's a fair
Let
point.
your guys see some points hit the scoreboard. Let your guys see that. Like let them see that because everyone's reeling now. And he said in the press conference that they've always been able to spring back, and he didn't understand why they wasn't able to. The moment was too big. He needed to put some points on, attempt to put some points on that board
Mm-hmm.
so they can see, okay, the game's tied now. Like we're back in it. Like
Mm-hmm.
let's push forward. But
Mm-hmm.
them not getting it and not going their way, that was a nail in a coffin right there. He put the
Fair
nail in the
point.
coffin. His team, Josh Reynolds and Dan Campbell, man, both of them together, put a nail in the coffin because that was just it was what it was. So I said all that to say, Lions are the better team. Heartbreaking, gut wrenching. They'll learn from this. They'll be back next year, and we thank God we have the Niners on the schedule again next year, so we
That's the
can
key.
so we can so
That's
we
the
can so,
key.
so, so we can see them.
That's the key. Can they learn from this? Right. You have to
Absolutely, they
learn
have to.
from this. You have to.
Absolutely,
That's really the thing. You
yeah,
said it. You started from the beginning. This was immaturity. It was clear
yeah,
immaturity in the way that it showed up that they were a young team that had never been there. The coaches and the players, and both. There were
absolutely,
things that were done that you were like, this is it. And like I said, if two of those things change, um, they're no fumble, or maybe they do kick the field goal, or maybe they just get the fourth down. If any of those two of those things change the whole game, they win the game. Like it's that
yeah,
simple because they were on this night 100%. To me, I agree. They were the better team. They were, and do I think the Niners have more talent in certain areas? Sure,
sure.
um,
Better
but
team though.
the better team. They were the better team, and that was,
Yeah,
I think that was evident. And I know that's what you were alluding to at the very beginning. That's what I was wrong about. I was right about the result, but that's what I was wrong about. I thought that the 49ers would just be the better team, and they weren't. That wasn't clear or evident during that game.
mm,
The Lions had some missteps, big missteps, obviously, and you learn from those situations. You learn from that couple of things, right? Um, Maybe the second, if you do still go for the fourth down, right? If you do, let's just say you still go for it. Well, you learn from a couple of things. Maybe you take the points this time if it happens again, right? Cool. Or maybe if you do still go for it, maybe you realize maybe this moment's a little too big for Josh Reynolds. So maybe we give it to one of our all pro, hey, he dropped the first one. So maybe we try to run a route, run some play for Amon-Ra St. Brown, who is an all pro and a top 5 receiver. Maybe you go to your top 5 tight end who's an all pro, right? He's a rookie, but he showed up in that game and he clearly is better, better suited for that. Maybe you run an option route for Gibbs in that moment. There's things that you could do. Maybe you bring, and this is another thing that I need Ben Johnson to do. Speaking of Ben Johnson, we might as well, since I brought it up, Ben Johnson decided to stick around. We'll get more into that. But what I need Ben Johnson to do going forward is I need him to figure out a way to use Jameson Williams more. You and I both talked about that. You and I both, like, they need to use Jameson Williams more. I need to see him more on some of those crossing routes. He showed, I think it was really good, and I know it's a small thing. I think it was really good for him, though, mentally. His last catch of the season was a touchdown, right? And it was a different touchdown than he has had. It wasn't like this explosive. It was a red zone.
Yeah, it was a Josh Reynolds touchdown.
It was a Josh Reynolds touchdown. He said, I can do this too. And,
I need him with them Josh Reynolds routes now.
Exactly. That's really the key is we can use him in some of those things. Why can't he get some of those short routes and short things and yes, I do think he needs to improve I still think he needs to continue to get more comfortable with catching with his hands. There are a couple of, that was throughout the season. Earlier in the season, he had a couple of drops. But he proved throughout the last 6 or 7 weeks.
I ain't really see none.
Yeah, he hasn't dropped anything in recent times. So I think that's just more with comfortability. That's why I said that. I don't think he has the ability. I think that just more comfortability. But he has to have those opportunities too, though, right? So there's
Absolutely.
You give him those type of routes. I think he's far more capable in ability to be able to do some of those routes. You don't have to always run them on deep routes and things of that nature. So I want to see more of that. Come this following season, I would love to see him have a big year, man. Him and Amon-Ra St. Brown together with Laporta, that team can be top offense in the league all season. Now I know they were already in the conversation, but they can be actually number one if they with a few things. And so I'm excited. I think I'm excited to see what happens with them going forward for the next season. Obviously, you got to learn from those mistakes, but you learn from those, and you'll have a chance to be playing in the game that's playing, next Sunday. So, or this coming Sunday, I should say. You have a chance if you correct some of those things. The team that they have now should, like you just said, should be there. So, and this was probably a year earlier than any expectations we might have had.
It's 1,000% a year earlier. Yeah.
So
they were just supposed to make the playoffs this year. Maybe win a game.
Win a game. I was good. At the beginning of the season. I was good with division title, win a playoff game. I was fine with that. But then we saw, and I'm still, don't get me wrong, I want to still be very clear.
I mean,
I thought this was still a great year, and I'm still okay with
because
winning the first game. Winning the first game against, obviously, killing those, getting rid of those demons of winning the playoff game, winning the division title, beating Matthew Stafford. Those things were huge. Don't get me wrong. And everything else that came after that, great. The win against the Bucks, great. Getting a chance to go to the NFC Championship, that was just more, icing on the cake. But man, you had a chance. So the thing is, so you look at it, you just look at it and you want to learn and make sure that you don't want this to be the only time you get there in the next several years, right? You should be better next year. There are opportunities to be better. That's a Brad Holmes issue right now. It's his turn. It's his time to shine. His time to shine. So he needs to. And he's done it every year. So there's no reason why we shouldn't believe that he will again be making them better this season. But he's done it every year. So I'm hoping that he continues to do what he's been doing, and that's the key. Get back there. You want to jump in?
Yeah. So I guess I have a question. Would you say the Lions are in the Super Bowl or bust era? Are they in the Super Bowl or bust window right now, going into next season?
Super Bowl or bust, man. It's tough for me to say with them winning one division title, right? With them getting to the playoffs one time, and
so you think would next year getting to this same spot be a successful season?
Successful, yes. Would it still be disappointing? Yes. I think both can be. I think both can exist as well. The reason why I say that is because we're talking about a team that has been losers. Okay, we haven't had a consecutive playoff season. 30 years. We haven't gone to the
I
playoffs
get it.
consecutively. So that's really. I'm not
I get it.
saying. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to be Dallas. Okay, so I'm not. I'm not out here like, oh, let's just make the playoffs. Yay, yay. No, 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 no. You have a chance. You have a team within this that should be competing for the Super Bowl. So don't get me wrong. I would still think it was disappointing. Absolutely. To answer your question, yes. I would think it would be disappointing. When you said successful, that's where I get kind of like that's where I'm kind of like, would it still be successful? Yes. I think it would still be a successful. I think it could be successful and disappointing still. Because I thought this season was successful, but it still ended up being disappointing because it was like, dang, we really had a shot to go to the Super Bowl. And maybe not the
Right.
full season was disappointing. That's why I say it's kind of
But we
it's not
leave the
black and
season
I don't think
happy
it's
that
black
it
and white.
happened.
Sure. Yes, I don't think it's black
So
and
it's
white.
more of a it's more of a we was playing with house money though. We were going into this game playing with house money. We were
Sure.
That's just what it was. Next season won't feel that won't feel that way. You go into the NFC Championship game, no one's going to say the Lions are playing with house money going into that game. They're going to be expected to win. You guys in there expecting the Lions to win that game. It's not going to be, hey, well, the Lions lucky to be here. No,
I mean,
this the
sure.
first time in we ain't getting the first time in the history. No, all that was this year.
But see,
It,
but see,
all that's all that's dead.
I'm the type that can appreciate. I think you can still appreciate a regular season and a good regular season and some other and a couple of playoff wins without making
I
it
get
feel
it.
like, oh, because you didn't. Only one team can win a Super Bowl. So I don't
Absolutely.
believe that only one team had a successful season, right? Like, and so it's just if you get to the point where say, okay, like Baltimore's at a point where, all right, they've been to the playoffs multiple times. They've won their division before. They've had, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a little different, and that's why I say it's a little different. It's a good question. I don't want to make it say it's a good question,
Is
and maybe I'll feel
Buffalo
differently as going forward. Buffalo has. I don't want
is
to.
Buffalo a successful season or a failure?
You're making it black and white, and I don't think it's black and white.
I'm just asking a
I
question. I'm
don't.
just
I don't think it's
asking if
black
you
and
feel
white.
like Buffalo. Oh, you feel like they leave that season, that you
They
feel like
were.
they leave this year where it was
It was a failed season for them.
with some high hopes.
If you're gonna make me not be political, it was a failed season for them.
Right. And I'm saying once you get to a certain stature,
They also didn't get to the AFC
um,
Championship game. But go
they did
ahead.
not. They did not get to the AFC
They
Championship game. You're
they
right.
completely they
Um,
it's different. But
anything like okay, let's take Philly for instance, right?
mm,
Um,
oh, that was a debacle. Like
understood. But here's the thing with Philly. Philly ain't been
mm-hmm,
on top that long.
mm-hmm,
Philly just kind of turned this thing around. I mean, they had their run, some
mm-hmm,
years back, but then they
mm-hmm,
fell off a little bit. And
mm-hmm,
this last couple years, it's been like a couple years here.
mm-hmm,
But since the fact that they made it
mm-hmm,
to the Super Bowl, they were
mm-hmm.
expected to at least get back there
I,
because anything short of that would have been a failed season. You can't be worse than you were last year. Like the only way I think the Lions get a pass next year, right? If let's say if the season doesn't go as planned, they get bounced out in the first round or something next year. Okay. Is if one major injury happens, two, if like I can't even say it's really just major injury. Like because I can't even say, okay, well, everybody else got better. Well, no, everyone's expecting the Lions to get much better too, because you're in that upper echelon of team now. Like you're not in that, we're not in that growing phase no more. We're not in that stance of like Brad Holmes. He's been telling us the last two off seasons, coming up to the podium at his little talk before the draft. Hey, this is just the next step. We're just getting better. Yada yada.
and
We
he's been right
passed
so
that
far.
now. He has, but we here now.
Mm-hmm.
Like
So, but I guess it's hard for me to
we
just
skipped a step.
excuse. I guess it's hard for me to just yeah, well, there's that. right? So I guess it's hard for me to just excuse how bad we've been for so long, right?
I get
It's
it, but
not
this team ain't that team.
so no, no. I know that it's not that I'm thinking of the. I am thinking of the past, right? I'm thinking not necessarily in the sense of like, oh, this team is different, or not. This team isn't different, but in a sense of it's just tough to truly like. We still haven't. All right, we made the playoffs again. We won a couple of games, and it's great. Yes, these are milestones. But I need you to get to the playoffs again in this consecutive
Right.
season. I need you to
You
win a
want to just be
division
good.
again. No.
A consistently good team before we raise the expectations.
I think that's really where I'm like. I expect them after what just happened. Yes, I expect them to still be a Super Bowl contender next season because I don't expect them to get worse. So in your perspective, yes, I'm expecting them to be in that conversation, and I expect them to play up to that, barring major injury, like you said. But then there's also like, man, we ain't even. And I guess you made a good point. We skipped a step, right? Because we haven't. Had we won the game, we won the first game and then lost the second game, then maybe we'd be like,
We're not even having this conversation.
maybe we're like, we still need to. We need the next step would be to
Then
win a
next
couple of
year we
games.
will hope to get to this spot.
Yeah, and I get it, and I think that's where it makes it tough, right? Because we did skip
Right.
a step, right? It's
Right,
like, dang.
and I get why that makes fans like you uncomfortable. Is because now we go from, man, let's just get in the playoffs to, man, we need to win Super Bowl next year. Like
Yeah.
it's crazy.
It's
It
happening too
feel
fast. It's happening so
I
fast.
know it
Like,
feel wild, but
yeah.
the problem is
You.
here's the issue though: the window to win Super Bowls are not that big.
They're very, very
The
minute.
shelf life of these NFL players and with contracts the way that they work, we have a lot of guys on rookie deals. Like all these guys won't be here.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of good players. We can't pay
Mm-hmm.
everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So you run the risk of losing guys and not picking high in the draft anymore to replace them.
Mm-hmm.
So who's to say in 3 or 4 years we even in this position again?
Mm.
Jared Goff will probably be gone at that point. St. Brown will be looking for possibly a second contract. I mean, he'll be coming up towards the end of his current contract.
He gonna get paid before that, but that's a whole nother conversation.
No. I said in 3 or 4 years he'll be looking for his second, his third contract technically. His third contract at that point.
He about to get like a 5-year deal, man.
I know, but he'll be approaching his last couple years of his deal, like these, and he'll be older. Like these things,
Pinay, they gonna be
absolutely.
Sure. They about to get paid.
So these are things like they only got like a few year window, definitely here. Like
3 to 4.
So
3-year window.
Yeah. So if we're not going to demand not the demand, but expect the Super Bowl next year, so we gotta say the year after that, then the Super Bowl or bust. Then we in the echelon of the Niners and the Ravens and the Eagles.
Sure, I will be in that at that point. I guess I'm just not. You make a good point, and I'm sure I'm just being real conservative with my fandom of expectations.
Yeah, you don't want to be let down.
I'm very. I don't want to be let down.
Because we expect Super Bowl.
Because we've been let down so much.
Right.
Like I'm just. But I do. But again, I do agree with. I do expect them to be in this position next year. I do.
Right.
They've made that. They've made it possible, right? They've shown themselves capable to be in this position. And again, like I said, I believe Brad Holmes will continue to make them better as he's done every season, every offseason. So I don't expect anything less. So if they're better, they should be in this position again next year. And at this point, if you're in this position again next year, I need you to take those steps and get to the dance. Like get to the place where you should be. So yes, I expect them to be there. I just struggle with the whole success failed season. I guess I think it's just a little more gray than it is black and white when it comes to that question. That's all.
I get it. It's gonna be harder, but my thing is they expect it. So if they expect it, then who am I to downgrade that?
For sure.
You hold them to expectation.
For sure. The Bills
thing I don't
had a failed season. The Ravens had a failed season.
Absolutely. The Eagles had a failed season.
For sure. Yep. So I don't want to downplay.
And if we say that we're on that level,
the Cowboys,
then we can't say Right, failed. We can't say that our expectations are lowered, even though we say that our team is on that level. Either we're on that level or we're not on that level. Is
Them
where are we at?
them skipping the step just it
Yeah, it messed
changed
everything
everything.
up.
It
It messed
did.
everything up.
It did.
Them
It
getting to
did.
this point,
It
and
did. I
not
mean, it's
just
a
them
good
getting to this
thing.
point.
It's a good problem.
It is. It's a good problem to have, but not. It wasn't just them getting here. It's them being up 24-7,
Mm-hmm.
about to be in the Super Bowl. Like they should
Mm-hmm.
have been in the Super Bowl. Like this
Mm-hmm.
isn't. So we expect next
Mm-hmm.
year, y'all better be some dogs next year.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, and because, and I even heard on the radio, and what he said was completely true. We grade wins differently next year. Like we
For
not
sure.
give you passes on wins. Like
For
I feel
sure.
like we gave him passes on bad wins. Like the way they looked in some of these wins. Like we not. You get graded differently when you're at the
For
top. You
sure.
can't just be going out getting barely beating bad teams. Like you need to go out and beat the team, bro. Like no
Yeah,
days off, bro.
they'll get the same expectations that a lot of these other teams.
Absolutely.
We
You have to look good.
when the Chiefs looked nasty throughout a lot of the
Yeah.
season, when Philly was on their downtrot, when the 49ers lost three in a row,
Yeah.
like you got to get those same talking conversations and things of that
Absolutely.
nature.
Philly
So
was getting
I'm with you.
killed.
Yeah,
Philly
yeah,
was getting killed
yeah,
even
and
before they started losing
yeah.
because they said they had losing. They were playing losing football, but
Mm-hmm,
even
mm-hmm.
before the whole thing happened, like my thing is, I don't know if the Lions ready for that kind of people looking at them yet because they play some interesting football
We're gonna
sometimes.
find out. We're gonna
Like
find
we
out.
play some like us as Lions fans, we know like week to week is a little different sometimes. I mean, and so us losing to the Bears ain't gonna be acceptable next year. Like these things can't happen. Like we have to beat teams like that. So and I ain't gonna lie, and I'll throw this last little nugget out there. It does worry me a little bit that a lot of the games next year is against mobile QB. So, but hey, that is a little worrisome stat. So, Brad Holmes,
Hey,
fix that.
I was gonna say get better. That's all.
Yeah,
Get
yeah, Brad
get
Holmes, fix that because
get better.
if not, it's gonna be tough.
The defense has to be a focus. You need a number one
Absolutely.
cornerback and another cornerback. I'm a firm believer in thinking they need to get two cornerbacks, to be honest. But I think
I
one
mean,
needs to
clearly, because two people get hurt, we getting dudes off the couch. So clearly, we need multiple cornerbacks.
and we can't rely on Mosley being healthy. I don't know what's gonna happen
I
with
don't even
that.
know if we're signing him
So
back. So
well he's
one
yeah,
year.
exactly. You're right. He's
So
one
who
year.
knows?
So who knows? So likely we won't sign him back more than likely. But
Right.
then you have to, you got to get. I want to get a starting cornerback. I'm really okay with them trading for a big time cornerback, but there also are a couple of cornerbacks that'll be in free agency, and we will have a big free agency talk. Coming up
Absolutely.
after the Super Bowl and things like that draft. But I do know there are a couple of cornerbacks coming up. A couple of in mind are Johnson from the Bears and Snead from the Chiefs are looking to be free agents. So that we need to keep
Absolutely.
those in mind. Those are some really good corners. But then also they need to update their edge rusher and add another edge rusher to help that D line out. But all in all, get better because a lot of these teams that had these failed seasons, some of them could be breaking up. Some of them could be anything happening. There's going to be more opening next year. There's going to be
Absolutely.
opportunities. They take advantage of this opportunity.
Yep.
We will have another. Before we get off, I almost forgot. We got to talk about Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson did stay. Him and Aaron Glenn are both going to stay. Though that is the news. I know we were expecting Ben Johnson to take a head coaching job, and he decided that he wanted to run it back. He wanted to come back. He said it's unfinished business. There wasn't. There are a few extra other things going on too as well with that. I know you have some details on or some things, some rumors. I'll just say rumors regarding
Yeah,
the.
there's always rumors out there. But I will say about the rumors, it does seem like Ben Johnson just kind of got ahead of the news.
Mm-hmm,
It don't look like he was going to get that job anyway in Washington, which is smart of him just to say, hey, I'm coming back.
mm-hmm.
Hey, whatever. We just
Fine
care
with
that
me.
you're back. Yeah,
Yeah,
we just care that you're back.
just get Jamison
No
Williams the
love
ball
for
more.
Washington anyway. So yeah, just get Jame on the ball and
So,
please, for the love of God, don't run another flea flicker. So, uh, please. And
man.
also, when you're on the goal line on third down and 50 some seconds left, please do not run the football when you get all three of your timeouts. Please. That is coaching my practice, brother. Like that is horrible. Terrible call.
So
You
we
and Dan.
gotta have some learning experiences there. I'm we as fans we're a little down about the Super Bowl that's the preview, but we will be previewing the Super Bowl and we will
We will.
definitely have a little more enthusiasm because I will say this, there's a lot to talk about when it comes to like Patrick Mahomes though, and so I definitely would love to talk more about him and what this could mean for his legacy, Andy Reid, and things like that. We'll be back to talk about that. We should see you all again probably Saturday. So I'm looking forward to getting that to you guys. We'll have that preview for you all. Thank you guys again for listening. The 3rd and 13 listeners and the watchers, man, we appreciate you guys. Continue to like and share and do all of that good stuff. We're going to be around. We're going to keep giving y'all good content. We're going to keep doing more. We got more coming for y'all. All right. Peace out.
Peace.